Alright, as you saw in one of my previous videos, I reused this old hitch that came with the Jeep. But the problem is there's too much space right here, so I'm going to try to take these off and bring them up to here to try to narrow that space. We'll see what happens. First I'm going to take these off. Now that I got these bolts off, I got to knock them this way to take them out. There's only one that concerns me, which is this one right here. Might hit the gas tank, so I may have to drop this whole side. I hope I don't have to do that. When I drop this one side, what I'm going to do is lower this all the way down to here. Let's see. So it'll actually be hooked like that. And then this piece would go up way up in there. So let's see. Alright, I've now moved this. I think I did that right. Let's see, it's on the second row. The top row of that and the second row. So on this one, it's on the bottom row, you see? So this got to be moved up to here. Like I did on that one. Well, I did have a tool casualty on this repair. So, well, first, what I tried to do, as you saw from the earlier little clips, I was going to take this hitch off and actually see if I could move it up. But, you know, it didn't work. It was too close to the fuel tank. It ended up touching, and the last thing I want to do is get hit and puncture the fuel tank and this thing explode. And there's actually a lawsuit out about that, so we're not going to do that. So anyhow, if I was going off-road or something like that, this would not be on there. I would get a bumper that had a hitch receiver built into it. But since this is the cheap Jeep, we're only worried about, you know, maybe some extra protections or pulling me out of wet grass. So anyway, this is my issue. I went to load up the cheap Jeep with some tools. And I had this old Husky set that I purchased because I was broken down on the side of the road, and walked to Home Depot, purchased this set, got me out of a bind. Now the set's pretty comprehensive. I think even back then, I think I've had it for 5 years, it was like $150. And as you see, pretty much looks brand new. The only thing that, remember I did have to change these two out because the sockets from use just kind of destroyed themselves, so they did swap these out. But the first time I ever went to use this 1/2-inch ratchet, which was today, it didn't work. And what's happening is when I go to put a socket on and move it, you see this is what happens. You can't move it, it gets stuck. So I have to, now if I go this way, it works. But if I go this way, it will work, but it will get stuck. So now, there you go. You see how it got stuck and just moving along. So, oh, there it goes. But anyhow, so it gets hung up when this thing is swung to the right. Now, as you can see, this thing is brand new. Well, it's 5 years old, but it's never been used, never been beat on. It's never actually had a socket on it, believe it or not. So, I'm going to go to Home Depot and swap this out. It's kind of concerning, you know, you don't want to have crappy tools in the cheap Jeep because you're definitely going to have to use them. But anyhow, that was the only tool casualty that I had, and that's about all the work I did on it. I took that hitch off probably 3 times, grinded some stuff. I couldn't get it to work, and I'm sick of messing with it. But so then after I finished that, I went to load her up with some tools, and that's when I noticed that my ratchet was bad. So let's go try to swap it out. Okay, let's see if the old orange box will do it. Looks like it's the exact same one. Now they had two of these. Something interesting, as you see, it's the same exact part number. Okay. But this one is made in China, and this one is made in Taiwan. So I'm going to get this Taiwanese one. My original one was made in China, but they look identical. Need one more of these for a project. Well, they swapped it out with no questions asked. And this one's made in Taiwan, unlike the original one. This one does not have any issues. Flips the switch back and forth. All right. There you go. Had a couple of extra bolt holes, so why not put another hook? Today we're going to put on my discontinued $20 Reese roof basket. I've got a video where I actually assembled it, so you can go watch that one. But I'm going to put this on the cheap Jeep, and I'm also going to put my off-grid shower assembly on the cheap Jeep, possibly overlanding in the future. And this is what the portable shower will look like when it's installed. I've got this aggravated problem where I can roll the windows down. I just can't do the driver's side. But if I move this around, it works. So it's a short somewhere. I've unplugged it, plugged it in. I don't know. It's definitely in this plug right here. I'm going to clean it out and see what happens. I think it might be in the switch. If I ever do a top 5 things I hate about Jeep XJs, it's the door wiring. I mean, it's just a disaster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this back apart and re-inspect the solder joints. I don't see any breaks, but my soldering job is bad, but who knows. Be careful when you pop these off. This thing flew way over there, and I was lucky to find it. I'm just going to leave the door panel off and drive this thing. It's working now that I cleaned it. So I'm going to leave the door panel off and drive it for a little bit. See what happens. All right, well, that's the latest update on the cheap Jeep. So nothing exciting, but a few other things accomplished, including that.